National Chemistry Week from the University of Texas at Dallas Chemistry Student Association. Today, I'll be helping y'all make bioplastics at home. Make sure you're wearing your PPE, including gloves and goggles. And since we're going to be using the stove today, make sure you have proper parental supervision. So, to make our bioplastics, you're going to need 4 basic ingredients: cornstarch, distilled water, white vinegar, and glycerine, also known as glycerol. You can get all of these ingredients at your local grocery store. These 3 will be in the cooking aisle, but the glycerine will be in the first aid section of the pharmacy. You're also going to need some wax paper to store the plastic on while it dries. You're going to need 3 different measuring tools. 1 teaspoon. Okay, we start over. Hi guys, happy National Chemistry Week from the University of Texas at Dallas Chemistry Student Association. Today, I'll be showing y'all how to make bioplastics at home. Make sure you're wearing the proper protective equipment, including gloves and safety goggles. Since we're going to be using the stove today, make sure you have adult supervision with you at all times. To make the bioplastics, you're going to need cornstarch, which you can find at the baking aisle of the grocery store, distilled water, where you can find with the other bottled water, vinegar, specifically white distilled vinegar, which you can either find in the cleaning section or in the section with oils, vinegar, and sauces, and glycerine, sometimes also known as glycerol, which you can find in the first aid section of a pharmacy. For cooking utensils, you're going to need a thick bottom saucepan, a 1/2 cup measure, a 1 tablespoon measure, a 1 teaspoon measure, and a non-stick spatula for stirring. You're also going to want some wax paper you can spread the plastic out on so that it can dry. One optional ingredient is food coloring in case you want to make your plastic a different color. I don't have any with me today, but it's something you can use at home. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by putting some distilled water into our saucepan. We're going to need 1/2 cup of distilled water. Make sure you pour it carefully. If the bottle is too heavy, ask an adult for help. The next thing we want to add to our water is the cornstarch. Now, the cornstarch is the base of our plastic. Cornstarch is a polymer made of a bunch of sugar molecules all strung together to look like trees. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to our 1/2 cup of water. Make sure you level off the top of your spoon. You can just use your finger. That's 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use my spatula and make sure that the cornstarch is well dissolved in the water. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to stir cornstarch, so just be patient. Make sure that you don't have any lumps of cornstarch at the bottom of the pan or it'll burn. Now that my cornstarch is well dissolved in my water, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar. What the vinegar does is chop up our tree-shaped starch polymers into something that looks like long strands of spaghetti. That's 1 tablespoon, and 1 more. I'm going to stir it well to combine once again. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of glycerin. The glycerin is going to act like a lubricant so that the long spaghetti strands of starch can glide past each other evenly. That's going to help our plastics be more flexible, like the plastic on this water bottle, instead of a very rigid plastic like you may find in a PVC pipe. So, 2 teaspoons of glycerin. Now, if you don't have glycerin at home, you can try to sub a mild vegetable oil, such as canola oil, but the plastic won't come out as perfectly if you do that. I really recommend that you try to find glycerin at your local pharmacy. 1 teaspoon and 1 more teaspoon. All of the ingredients that we're using today are completely biodegradable and non-toxic. So this plastic is a better alternative for the environment than the regular plastic that we use today in grocery stores. Biodegradable means that it can degrade naturally over time. This one in particular would be able to dissolve in water if you heated it up. Okay. So, at this point, if you had food coloring, you could add a couple of drops to it and make your plastic a different color. But I don't have that today, so we're gonna go ahead and start cooking. Before I do that, I want to use some wax paper and just have it spread out, ready to go, so that as soon as my mixture thickens, I'll be able to transfer it directly over to the plastic wrap, so it won't harden inside my saucepan. I'm cutting about a 1 to 1.5 foot sheet. I'm going to place it right here. I'm going to put my stove on a medium-low setting because I don't want the bottom of it to burn. Make sure you keep it stirring constantly so that the bottom doesn't burn. It's going to take a little bit of time to get thick. So until then, just keep stirring. after about 6 minutes on medium heat. If you're using a lower heat setting, it may take up to 10 minutes to achieve the right consistency. Now, our plastic started out very liquid, but if you look at it now, it's very, very goopy, and it kind of slowly drips off the spoon instead of just coming out quickly like a liquid. So we're going to take this plastic and spread it out on our wax paper. You can also use parchment paper or aluminum foil. Spread it out as thinly as you'd like. Once you've spread it out, don't touch it, okay? Depending on how thinly you spread it out, it's going to take about 24 to 48 hours to cure. Mine is spread out at a thickness of about 0.25 centimeters. The thicker it is, the more time it's going to take to spread out. You can also try molding your plastics into different shapes, like a bowl. So if you were to take a bowl and then spread your wax paper out over it, then drape the liquid plastic over that wax paper, it'll harden into a bowl shape. That's all we have today. Thank you guys so much. I hope y'all enjoyed, and definitely try making this bioplastic at home. Bye!